Recording is on.
Ha.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. Namaste,
Thank you,
everybody. Nice to see
Neil.
everybody.
Thank you for turning us into mood of our deep conversations. And today we're going to talk about security.
Yeah.
First, when I wrote this topic, it was more related to our sense of security, like root chakra, that we want to feel safe in our everyday life. And sometimes we are driven by this like primal instincts of feeling safe. But there was another inspiration also coming from the experience of our friend Jackie, that she faced some scam basically online, and we wanted to do something. Actually, the team of Gary, Sarah took over in this part. And can you, Gary, maybe explain what happened and what was the mission behind it, basically?
Okay. So what, you want to start now or you want to talk about the other subject?
Sorry?
You want to talk about feeling secure first?
Okay.
All right,
We can
let's talk about
start
feeling
from the
secure.
root and the root chakra. How we want to feel safe. So then I think Tushar can have something there since he's in India.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
till you are still alive.
What do you say?
Go ahead till you are still alive.
Oh, I'm slow. I was thinking like I'm wearing the red T-shirt, and that red color symbolizes the root chakra. So I said, start about it. So, like the predominant requirement for any human being, that is, she should feel secure. That's like that's like something that we are embedded within. The moment we are not feeling secure, be it be it our general environment where we live in, be it our workspace, be it our relationship, be it with our children, be it our anything, any area of our life, until and unless we don't feel secure and safe over there, we we don't we are not totally open about it. We don't feel home with that space. So security begins the very primal and predominant trait that's embedded in the human beings, and right from the and this was the very first thing of the human evolution. When humans, from being hunters and gatherers and living discrete, they started living in close group in social societies, just so that they can be secure from the wild animals and other threats. So that was the very start of our human evolution itself, and right from the root chakra that entails us. And once we feel secure about anything, only then we can explore other things of life. Suppose we all are landed up in an island there where there is a threat of life. We won't be thinking about web3, we won't be thinking about technology, we won't be thinking about good food. All we would think about how to reach a place which is secure, first get out of here. So that is the primary thing, being secured in the workspace. That's the wherever I go and do these talks in the corporate culture, I tell the people, I tell the managers, I tell the top management, first of all, if you want productivity from your employees, make them feel secure where they are. If they are constantly feeling like like a sword is dangling on their heads, they are not feeling secure, they are looking for a job change, they are not feeling home with it, they can't be productive. Same goes in the relationship, and look at any area of our life. And right now the cyber thing has become a real threat. Somebody can obviously theft your identity and make you as a different person. And right now in the web3 space, this has increased too much. Like, whosoever is a good influencer, people will make his own fake accounts and then do all sort of like just give me this address, I'll send this much amount of assets, and like that has become too much. And then the actual person is being scrutinized, his image is slandered. So that's very common. So in that area it has also be to taken care of. And when we feel secure in different areas of life, then we can contribute something great to the society and whatnot. Thank you.
Actually, like what you said. Oh, Charlie, you want to say something? Go for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think it's really interesting about what you're saying about the team culture and employee motivation, because that's something that I'm like trying to research a lot at the moment, because I've worked for many different fast-growing tech startups going through like those growth periods, and every place I ever worked, when they go through that raising investment, you go from being all around about the employees to suddenly all about the customers and raising money and meeting targets and setting goals. And every time the employees end up leaving because they don't feel safe and secure in their jobs anymore, and they don't feel like they're part of the original mission of the company. So what I'm wanting to focus my time more on is like helping these types of businesses really maintain their culture with their employees, so that they have better employee retention, which means that their business grows better during those like growth stages. And I think that the Web3 technologies and mindset can really help with like employee security. So it's a really interesting like area of looking at it.
Yeah, and this
I think that like
productivity.
approach is like
Go ahead.
I think that approach is like very hard because like here's what's happening right at the founder level. Like if I'm gonna like raise some cash, I'm gonna like promise like investors like right now, like say my company's like worth 30 mil. After I'm done, right, with like deploying capital is gonna like worth like 300 mil, 10x. And based on that promise itself, literally the executive team has no choice but to 10x the company, and in the process like fire and hire like the right people to like get to hit that milestone. Otherwise, they themselves get fired. So that's like how like the whole system work, right? So yeah, trying to like maintain this kind of like culture in such a in like such a financial like structure in the first place, from my perspective, is kind of like flawed. That's why kind of like after like being like that culture for a bit, like more than 10 years, and I like came out like started like doing my own projects. I was figuring like how do you actually like scale up an organization while kind of like avoiding that, right? So that kind of like defaulted me to like using DAOs as a model. So it's like in that regard, it's like you technically don't deal with VCs anymore. It's like the whole thing is like crowdsourced and crowdfunded, right? In terms of like, all right, community actually likes this, they can put some cash or they kind of put their muscles and time and effort or their connections into it. So there's like no, in that regard, so long as like the social impact is like well defined, well, there's like really no need to like hit some numbers of like ROI returns in terms of money. It's like, okay, which social impact are we going after? Okay, that's one. All right, let's solve this. Like what kind of like manpower, like talent that we need and kind of connections. All right, let's pull everything together. So it's kind of like taking this whole model, just extending it upside down. That is my.
Gary, can you maybe try to put this one headphone into your ear?
Oh.
Because I'm not sure if then it started to be like a little bit.
It sounds like Charlotte and also Gary both said something, I think this is what I heard, is that when the money comes in, the security feels less.
Definitely. Yeah, it's true. I've seen it everywhere. Actually, I was going to ask Gary, like, in terms of DAOs, so I'm really intrigued by how DAOs can be used for like Web2 businesses, like for internal processes, so to aid like collaboration and innovation and those like to help with employee motivation, how DAOs can work. But I'm also wondering, like with the DAO system, like how with like tokens and like people can buy more tokens and then have more voting rights, like how that then solves the problem of people being like equal and decentral and like not having like a power, because people do get power from
it doesn't solve that. I don't think, Charlotte.
So how do you solve that then?
A republic?
Actually, don't think of it as like DAOs, right? Think of it more like crowdsourced model, isn't it? Technically, it's just like a crowdsourced model for like something you want done in like the community. So if you go to like professional investors, they have their own KPIs to hit, right? It's like, okay, I'm like a VC working for, like, say, Andreessen Horowitz. I got some money from the institutional funds, like the sovereign funds. I promised them to like 3x. So whatever money I put in, right, that money has to return me 100x. Otherwise, like, I'll just get fired by them. You see, like, how the whole chain works. So the founder, when like takes the money from the VC, they have to like guarantee 100x back. Otherwise, they lose their job. So basically, the sovereigns apply the pressure on the LPs, and the LPs apply the pressure on the founders. So yeah, this model just like doesn't work. If you kind of like want to like go for like social impact and want to like say, hey, we want to really like do a project that is like really for the people, by the people, and like really for the community.
I'm just taking it in. I'm taking in what you said. You know, I used to own a hedge fund and a wealth management firm, so I get that patterning. And what would be like Yolanda? What would be like a more tribal way to do things?
No idea. The truth is, no idea, Neil. That's why I think this is interesting.
We need to try something new. That's what you should say.
Yeah.
No?
I was talking this morning a little bit about this. You know, we were talking about the security, right? The security that somebody can steal something. And for me, it's more like, how can we think a little bit deeper in terms of what if we can, what we offer or what we are, it doesn't make any sense to steal it, you know, because nobody will take in this mentality that if I steal it, I will make something, you know, like the greed component has to be erased from that. So I don't know how to create this, you know, but I think we should think deeper in terms of not being scared of somebody is going to steal from us anything, you know, because I think part of it, if it's knowledge, for instance, I think knowledge should be shared. So that would be great. If they steal it, it's great. But if it's something else that they want, they won't get it from us in terms of, okay, you can get anything we have, but it won't make any sense to steal it because you're not going to make business out of what we have to offer. So in order to do that, that safety has to be deeper in us, you know. So I don't know. These are the thoughts that I was having today with Aga.
And considering that we are projecting our reality, if we feel safe, then everything will be fine, unless there is some lesson too.
Yeah.
Also, it reminds me like we have to start from ourselves and from like awakening more people around, touching them somehow, that they also transform this mindset, giving the example of like-minded community, and that it works and it can be great. Those are the first things that come to my mind until we reach that point where really we don't have to be afraid or like have this fear.
But then do you think that comes back to security as well, as in like people's like how people are judged by the way you're thinking? So like for me, writing my post today that was shared on the Conspicuous network, that was big for me because that's like the first time that I've kind of said like, this is what I'm interested in and this is like a big part of me. And I know that, you know, there'll be people who don't have the same mindset and don't think the same way and sort of, you know, kind of dismiss it, and it's going through that transition of not caring. So like what people say, and then just aligning yourself with people who are similarly minded, but people might be thinking this way but be too scared to talk about it because of fear of judgment and rejection.
Yeah.
If you wouldn't do it, would you feel more safe?
No.
Yeah, actually it would be more in the fear, like, because you don't know what would be the result.
Yeah.
Once you do something, it's like kind of relief, like,
yeah, definitely.
at least I know, and I don't like, I'm accepting whatever comes from this. No,
but not everyone feels that way. So there's probably loads of people who have that sense of insecurity to not do
Yes,
it.
like the judgment and rejection that she said, and like that's quite true. Like if you even look at being say meditation and yoga, for example, before it was mass adopted, people who will be practicing yoga or meditation, they won't be speaking it up in openly, right? Because they were having the fear of being judged and being discriminated. So since recently started to having a mass adoption, many people are following it, everybody is practicing it, and then they are acknowledging it on the social platforms in the public. Then the people who were, like in the background, they are also coming out, okay, yeah, I also do that. So that's one thing with the group consciousness, even with in any aspect. The moment group consciousness towards something increases and is accepted, people fear that thing less.
That's why I believe there are more similar souls there. Just everybody's
Yeah,
kind of hiding and not want like.
actually.
Yes. So I put out my poll today on meditation, and I'm so intrigued that so many people said they do meditate during the working week, and a lot of them were in the Web3 space, which brings back to my thoughts on how people in this space are much more innovative and visionary people, and they're doing things like meditating. And also the people who are meditating are in really high powered roles and really successful. And there are a few people who said no, but I'd like to. So putting it out there and actually seeing, people can vote on something like that, you actually get a really good understanding of that more people are doing it than you think.
Yeah, the same was with my post when I asked about spirituality, if people are on their path or awaken or etc. And I was also really surprised how many claim that they are or they would like to find out more. There were maybe just 3 people who said, no, I don't care, I don't want to. So I think there are, more people either ready or already there somewhere. I think we are all on some path still. And it's just about probably going out and how else we can find these people if we don't speak out our truth outside.
Well, the same way that we have found it, right? There's a way that life has to like-minded people, or at least I don't like the idea of like-minded, because like-minded is not challenging enough for me. I like to have people that they're not like me or they don't think like me, because I think it's much more interesting and vibrant for me.
Another word for dictionary.
But maybe it's about that intention, not like-minded, but it has the intention, whatever the intention might be in this case. But I think finding a group is something that is organic. It's gonna happen.
But we had to talk about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. We organized this first event and we had to talk about all this stuff. Otherwise, you would not know that we are into this craziness. So this is one of the actions we have to take, I believe, and speak out our truth.
Yes.
And see if people are ready or not ready for it. Then it's also easier selection, as we were talking with Gary. I think it's when the more authentic we are, it's very fast selection of people around us.
That's good. That is good, because it takes time. It is
just be ourselves. It's super great.
Yes,
you don't need to try too much.
In our
the right people.
Selves. And be what we are. We should say that to the face, to the people, to the society, to everybody. And then whosoever will be like-minded, you say, or sharing the same vibe or same frequency, then definitely they will connect. And definitely the people who don't resonate with our mindset, they won't be connecting. So that's quite clear. And the best thing it will do, you won't be having fakers around you. You won't be having fake people around you. At least the genuine people will only dive in.
One way we could do that, if we wanted to, I'm offering for your consideration, is there's 6 of us on this call today, right? And if all 6 of us agreed, all of these have been recorded, but they're not being released, so they're not searchable and they won't be found by anyone. But if the 6 of us today agreed that we wanted to put this out there with some sort of title like "Looking for Our Tribe" or something like that, then maybe people will find us and our group would grow a lot. Just an idea.
Neil,
I
one
know,
thing.
Neil, you brought this today already.
Yeah,
And I told you we discussed
where will
this
you share,
topic.
Neil? You're not on social media, any platform. Where will you share it?
Yeah.
No.
About
YouTube
equal
is its own search engine, man.
Yeah,
You put a few
YouTube.
words there, people will find us. But if we hide, I mean, we can't be scared to be seen, right? I think that's what we're talking about.
Neil, we had this discussion. You were not there, probably. It was not that we are scared to move it out, but we want to, modify it a bit too for shorter videos. Okay. So don't worry.
Cool.
It's on our list to do.
I'm not worried. I was just offering for your consideration. That's all.
And I think that is important too, right? I think Neil is bringing something that is interesting. What is our real commitment then to keep going? I mean, there's different steps that we need to keep doing, right? Regardless if we are on social media or not. But the thing is, we're finding people like Charlotte, for instance, today. For me, it's new. It was not before I moved from the United States to Spain, and I am already trusting her because you brought it here. So that's the way we are going to keep finding people, and I don't know. That's how I see it, like little by little, because we already discussed many things like trust. We already have a bond among us, right? So that takes time.
Yeah. Thank you for this. Yeah. And that's the aim, like to bring into the conversation people who we trust and that we know that we are on this, I don't want to use now the word for like-minded. I don't know, we are on the same or similar frequencies. Yeah. We are totally different and we can all see it. Like each person it's a different vibe and so unique. On the other side, we are open to this kind of crazy discussions and with all the different perspectives.
For me, it's not about, there's no objective here other than what I'm present to right now is that we want a new way of conducting ourselves as a collective consciousness. And we all have, everybody here is like a meditator or super, aware. And so there's these sort of like forces outside of ourselves that are coming down into us and through us. And there's got to be more people even further along maybe than we are, or, that we can connect to, that we can enhance what they're doing, that they can enhance what we're doing, that we can all lift each other up, uplift each other, just like we do on these calls with each other. We lift each other up. I always receive so much, and I just come here with the idea of see how I can help today. And I always receive a lot just from seeing your smiling faces. And so, yeah,
Neil,
it's just like...
Neil, darling, can we leave it for the Monday talk about organizational stuff?
Yeah,
and I'll not go from the topic of security with this, because I think there are some things coming into our minds, how to do it, how to proceed with all of it. But I would rather focus on the security topic in this one. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, just let's gather then everyone to come on Monday and let's talk about it further, what we can do next.
Maybe we can.
I have two ideas.
Oh, Jackie is here. Perfect timing. She can tell her story
Jackie,
about feeling safe online now. So we can jump into... Hi, darling.
Jackie,
great to see you. Perfect timing, because we go through like security, like more personal level, and we thought that it's also connected with what you experienced and what happened afterwards. So you can bring a little bit background of the story, like feeling safe, let's say, online, and Gary then can introduce like what he figured out there with Sarah. to unmute yourself. Okay.
Yes. Okay, can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect. Hold on, sorry, this is... There we go. Yeah, so it's funny because a lot of different people have reached out to me about like making it public on LinkedIn that happened to me. Because in a lot of ways, like I think we're all used to this, like all of us have had like Instagram accounts duped or things like that. But for some reason, this one just hit me differently. Like the fact that they had like a whole website and like obviously we're like collecting emails and like other parts of it. That was what really upset me. And yeah, and it felt very futile. Like I felt like everyone else. It's like, okay, I'll report this and then like, nothing's going to happen. It was interesting. I didn't really know what happened in between, like why they got back to us. Like I fully never expected to hear from anyone. So quote, like negotiating with them was interesting. Because at first they were like, oh, don't worry about your images. We're going to turn you guys into crypto stars. And it was like, no, like you didn't do us a favor here. Like, why would you take it that way? But yeah, like it definitely put me on heightened alert that I need to take security more seriously and like bake it into everything I'm doing. Unfortunately, right now, I think I'm too like everyone else, we're just like stumbling through everything and trying to, just get to where we're going and we're not thinking of these things. So yeah. And I was very, very thankful to have people in like the TrueSight DAO and just people with advanced knowledge that could actually like do things and help me and explain. And that made me feel secure. Literally just that in and of itself, like knowing I actually like have someone to talk to now is so Gary, expect more phone calls.
Thank you. And I love this magic that comes from this group of people. True support and TrueSight.
We actually took down the site for like a few hours, just so you know.
I know. Well, it was funny because like in their email when they were like, please tell Jackie and her team to like stand down. I was like, oh my gosh, this is getting real. I loved it though. I felt very powerful.
I was like, and then like I was thinking, yeah, Jackie is like, can it be detected? I was like, well, if it's just one server hitting that server, yeah, you can trace back. But what if we had like a few thousand like Chrome extensions, all of us having one, and like one of like say Jackie say, I'm being attacked by this website, and the other folks like in their browser see this notification, support Jackie, and they all press that button, and that site stays down. And you know what? Technically, it's legal, right? Because like if the government tries to go after like any of us, when they look at the logs, like okay, a guy just made one request today to a website. How is that illegal, man? It's like it's not illegal. It's like she just made one request to a website. It just so happened that a few thousand requests at the same time went to the website from different people. Technically, a big mob.
It was a completely new experience for me. Like I was like out and about living my life, and then I'm like reading these messages and I'm like, I feel like this is getting more serious and I should pay attention to what's happening. But I will say it was very like thrilling to be in it. I can see why people like to do cybersecurity. I was like, oh, I feel like an FBI agent right now or something.
Yeah. And then I was like sitting there having coffee with like Sarah. Sarah was like saying, like Jackie was like telling me like how to be like and Edgar was like guiding me on how to become like a content creator, but I'm like feeling afraid because like things that happens to like what Jackie's experience will happen to me. I was like, okay, so what has been kind of fears, right? It's like, what if like people like steal my name and just use it? I was like, okay, that's like one of those, right? So that was like thinking, you know what? I mean, it's like you can't really go around the internet searching for your own name all the time. But if you have like a few thousand like people going around the internet, and like their browsers automatically detecting your name, right? And then like when your name is detected, and you get like a notification, hey, Sarah's name is like found on this page. Is it authorized? And you click through, it's like it's not, right? At least you get notified. And then like you have like an option, right? It's like, hey, just reach out. It's like, you stop, no response. All right, shut it down. 2 buttons, right?
Yeah, that's super great. Amazing job, guys. I'm like super impressed how fast you got in like into action and mobilizing structures. Yeah. It reminds me of oh my god, Marina Jacobi mobilizing structures and everyone on board. We are here saving.
Done. Let's go to
Jackie.
war. Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah. And also like that feeling. I think, yeah, Jackie, from the personal perspective, like the feelings there. First, probably insecurity, but then actually in people you probably found it.
Yeah, I think I felt like I went from feeling helpless to hopeful. I know that sounds kind of like lame, but like never before did I have like people of like Trey and Gary's caliber and Tushar like actually like weighing in on this kind of stuff. And like most people can't do anything about it. And you know, I've had this idea lately. You know, we talk about like supply chains a lot and like digital supply chains. It seems like all the focus seems to be there, but like sourcing is a bigger issue to me, like transparent sourcing. So if Gary and some of the stuff like TrueSight was talking about, like if you can identify the source, that would make me feel more powerful than trying to babysit the distribution channels, if that makes, and I guess that's where digital ID comes in. Yeah.
Funny that you like mentioned this, right? This morning, like Heads Martin like called with like the Solomon guys, talking about like how to like digitize their like supply chain. So I was like talking through like their whole like implementation details. Yeah, that's kind of like happening, and like that is like saying, hey, imagine this, right? You have like a whole ecosystem, like winter sports ecosystem. So the input is like all your suppliers, all your inputs. So every single input, like the SKU needs to be tokenized, right? And then like once you sell it, it's like that token is like circulating, and then like when they can like sell it, the consumers can return the goods, and like you know, it's like like how much of your raw materials is circulating out there in the ecosystem. So that's like first from the source, and then like you track the like circulation, and then the Eco21st, like Ecoverse like 21 like project, that's interesting because like we already know like the suppliers themselves and like based out of Africa. So when like the trade happens, if it happens, then like it already starts getting tracked from the source itself. So that's like interesting. But yeah, actually like back to the idea of like security. I think like this whole thing is like quite fun, right? I mean, it's like there's like a lot of content creators out there, and for sure at the back of their head, when they think that, hey, when like my name becomes more known, people are going to like try to hijack it. I'm sure like they would kind of like want to protect it one way or the other. Just like it is like my sense.
Yeah, I agree. Tushar, go ahead.
Yeah, so from what you guys talked right now, I got an insight, and that covers the entire cycle of the root chakra to the very well being in the presence in the internet. And what it is, like the moment we are surrounded by people, we are surrounded by a support system, a group of friends, and definitely like what the Jackie said, from feeling helplessness to feeling hopeful. And the moment that is there, we think, not only think, like we have a genuine support structure, then we feel empowered, then we feel secured, and something that is like beyond our control, and that is taken care of, and we won't have an idea about it, like how that's going to get taken care of. The moment that support structure we are around, we have friends with whom we can interact, and we feel connected, definitely we feel a sense of security in our being, the root chakra that feels strengthened at that very time. And right now with the internet age, and that's quite required, feeling online safety, and the ORMs that companies do, all the people do, they have a teams just to maintain an online reputation and securing the asset, securing the image of the person online. So that's complete cycle, so that way we feel much secure.
I feel like this is related so much to the energy. Yes, we have like feeling safe, feeling secure. It has to come from within, while also this energies that are around us are helping us either keep this this sense, this feeling, or or even raise up our vibration. So whatever there is, like, to transmute it. So yeah, I would come even to this energies exchange and like having them really in our environment, even though we are like so far away from each other. And that's how energies work, actually, that even then we can connect
You know,
and have this sense everything is fine. And everything will be
remind,
solved. Just trust
Yeah,
it.
there is no time space when it comes to the energy. There is no distance and all, nothing that is a
Yeah.
thing matter.
yeah, speaking of energy, speaking of like the environment, like actually like it reminds me of like the whole notion of like the network state. Hey, and then like, well, you're part of the network. The network has like this own defense like infrastructure, right? And that's kind of like what it is, isn't it? It's like, oh wow, people attack the network. Of course, the network will push back in its own way, right?
Yeah.
I think that's something that amazed me in this whole thing was like how quick everything happened. It was like I posted it on LinkedIn, which normally I think that's just like going to an echo chamber, or like, you know, a void anyway. But then like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
like people mobilized around it. And I was just reminded today, I was on a call earlier and somebody asked me, they're like, oh, I need her to send me her background picture, like with like a white background, but I don't know, I have to figure that out. And I was like, oh, I can do that for you really quick. And I mean, it took me 2 seconds to do it. And then I sent it to her and she was like, oh my gosh, thanks. And then it was like the same thing with me and this like security issue. It was like kind of just ask and put it out there. And like like you said, Gary, like the network state sort of like people just sort of like fill in the gaps and offer what they have. And I think all of us, especially people that come from like the corporate world, like it's almost like I have to remind myself how fast things can actually happen now. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I'm still like thinking I need to like make a phone call or find somebody that can do this. And like the problem took care of itself. It was crazy.
Yeah. That's
Reminds
like
me of German procedures. Everything has a procedure. Like you cannot do differently.
nah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. It's like that's my experience over the past like I would say close to 1 year already, or like actually like slightly more than 1 year ever since we kind of like started like messing around with the DAO model, where hey, just open up the network and like let people who can contribute come and contribute their own way, and just let them know how they can contribute, and you'll be surprised. Even right now, right? It's like this morning I had a chat with like Johnson. It's like saying, well, you need like the hotel build, right? Sure, why like just tap on the effort of one person? You should be tapping on the effort of the whole network, right? It's like how? Let me tell you how, right? So the network will help you like bring in the capital, like build up the hotel, but in return, what you need to do, right? 10% of the funds raised will go back to the network, invested in the network, and on top of that, right? This part is like going to be finalized. People that actually holds like tokens in the network will come and actually use the meeting room as and when. And we're gonna like try to like layer in like two more like attributes to it. It's like when you're using the meeting room, you can like have free flow of food and water. So basically, kind of like a base camp, and like even looking at maybe like implement like BLM like structure where I can like stay for free for 7 days, like every 90 days. So technically, if that comes to pass, then we should probably already start having like our first HQ for our network. Members could just come and aggregate over there.
Cool. That sounds
That'd be
good.
interesting if it happens.
Yeah.
Also, something that comes to my mind in terms of this security, safety, and I
Yeah.
think we touched it a bit too. What is the minimum to feel safe, and how you would describe this minimum? Minimum of what? Money, like some
That
stuff
that
around.
yeah, that totally differs from place to place, person to person, geography to geography. The minimum, right?
Yeah, this one for sure. But like, let's say that 5D, we are in 5D. Is there like some minimum that we
when
need
it
to
comes
have,
to
or
Yeah, when it comes to 5D, the first thing is being safe and secure at the inner level itself, at the chakra level itself. And once you feel safe and secure at your chakra level within your energy body, then that reflection will go outside. You will manifest all those instances where you will feel secure and secure. It's like in the 5D terms, totally whatever you're feeling inside, definitely that's gonna happen outside. Those even in the
So
3D.
Tushar, how do you do that? How do you do that?
Okay,
Feel
let me
good.
come to it. Let me
Yeah.
come to it. So even in the 3D, that things comes. You would have seen in your own life the moment the same time of frequencies you were on, you will acquire some resonating partner or the same kind of friends you will have. The frequencies you're recording, that definitely happens. And now coming to how to do that, right? Look, strengthening the root chakra is there's like a whole science behind it. It can take, if we start taking a workshop of it, it can go to straight 10 days, 15 days just to take care of it. Like you can start with an affirmation about feeling secure. Even even just putting your both hands to the thymus and repeating, like, I am safe, I am secure, like repeating it for 5 minutes, just meditating on that idea will give you a sense of security. The second thing that you can do is to build an environment of safety and security around you, like at your home and with your peers, like a relationship of peace and harmony, not fighting upon the small things. Even if you can do right now, have this affirmation: I'm safe, I'm secure, universe is taking care of me. You just close your eyes and repeat it 5 to 10 minutes, and you will see a variance of difference. You will be attracting those same vibrations and frequencies into your being, of the safety and the security that's in the universe. From here you can start with. Then with for hitting the root chakra, there are particular, like the beej mantras. For that, beej mantra is like the seed mantra that when you recite it, it definitely hits the root chakra, having the same vibration what the root chakra is. That is the next level. Then you need to practice some particular yoga postures. That's the another level to strengthen the root chakra. Then meditating on few colors, and so like it goes on and on. So where you can start with reciting the positive words toward the root chakra, safety and security. That's the key word for it. Any more questions in this
Thank
regard?
you, Tushar. Thank you. And you
Welcome.
guys, what do you do with like strengthening your root chakra
Like,
or like feeling safe?
it reminds me of like this writing by Musashi, Miyamoto Musashi, the dude that founded like the two sword fighting style, right? It's like saying, if you rest your mind on the sword, when the enemy takes your sword, you lose your mind. If you rest your mind on the technique, right? If the enemy takes your technique, you lose your mind, right? If you rest your mind on your strength, when you lose your strength, you lose your mind, right? So after that, right, the final proposal is rest your mind on nothing. And actually, like the personal way I practice this, sometimes like when I kind of go into like very like obscure like situation in the middle of nowhere when it was like kind of up in the Arctic, the nervous system, the whole adrenaline system, it kind of like goes into overdrive. Then like mentally, what I kind of like do is that I observe the overdrive, right, and just acknowledge that the system is going into overdrive. But at the same time, I also acknowledge that the body is going to die anyway. So if you come to terms with your own death and just accept it with peace, right, even though you might be feeling a lot of adrenaline while you're dying, then there's no more need for security because there's nothing more to protect.
Yeah, this is a great trick
It's a little
too.
extreme, but like this, like pretty like a fundamental like way to look at it.
Yeah, but it's very, very powerful, I think. I feel
Yes.
the
But
same,
I
kind
would
of free. Yeah.
go ahead. I just want to add, like, the idea of security is like I need to protect, right? Well,
Yeah,
the need to protect assumes that there's something out there that can take your security away from you. But if your security comes from here, and sure, like in that example, Gary, like someone takes your heart away, then I guess your security's gone. But
there's no
if
need
you're
for
getting your
security anymore.
security from here, and like what Tushar was saying, going inside, and like even with your hands on your heart is super powerful just for releasing the neurochemicals for feeling safe, I think. And just realizing that you don't need that much to be secure. Like what do you need? You need air, you need water, you need some sleep, you need a shelter, but you don't need like one that blocks against it doesn't need to be a house. Like you need a relationship, but it could be with a plant. You need some self-expression. Those are what you need. So I think this idea that we need these greater things is sort of an illusion.
But what is interesting, we don't even think about it, that we need air.
Yeah.
We just feel,
I'm
we
thankful
know
for it
that
every
we
single
have
day.
it, and we are like, we know, and that's it, and then and if we put the same approach maybe on these other aspects, that we know that we have it, that everything is okay, that comes from within, this feeling, then also we are strengthening.
Can I do some talk of reality bite? Yeah, like I can do it in this group. Other groups I have to think to say something that is true and crude, because sometimes people get offended. But yeah, with this group I should be open and look, understand the perspective, the feeling of security. eh, on one illusion, we can feel like okay, we should feel secure and like that. But if we look at reality, every time, every minute, they're like the microorganisms even that are constantly trying to make your body ill. There is an immune system that is fighting continuously just to make your body healthy. That's happening every day. The moment you give a little bit of little bit of like the thin air they can find to hit your body, they can make you ill. It's like a constant mechanism. The same is happening in the world, in the society, constantly, even in the workplace, whatnot. A certain level of this, the same thing is happening. Now, to feel secure is like you have to be empowered. Once you're empowered, you take care of yourself and you secure yourself at many different levels. If you're healthy, you're definitely immune to the disease. Same as you have to be equipped with the world outside, with any challenges that it comes. You have to have that. It's not like that, okay, when it comes to war, you start building something up. No, you have to do that every day. You meditate every day, you take care of your body, your health every day, and that's then eventually you land yourself in that zone, that where you eventually will feel secure. Your daily habits are like that, is taking you to the secure zone. But if even in any regards you are just down, then definitely that security aspect, we are inviting all those things to ourselves like that. So though it sounds crude, but that's what the world we are living in.
I mean, we have to take action for everything,
yes,
and I think that's it. Like
that's
just
it. Yeah.
to keep on this going on high vibrations, etc. But
Yes.
different things we can still experience, and then
Yeah.
let
Yeah,
it
like for the
be.
like for the Jackie example, she was living a very good life. She was like totally fine with what, and then something like that happens, and whole world goes to toss, and that it can happen to anybody. So we are living in that life of proximity, and we should acknowledge it. Like, okay, this is the world. This is it. Now it's on us how to make an ecosystem behind it to feel secure. And even if we are landed such situation, then we come back to our secure phase.
But it was very interesting with these organisms, like living in us. That's true. We don't think about it that much. Maybe someone is, I don't know, watch some movie about it and then freaks out. Oh my God, what is happening in me? And now I want to hopefully, like I want to do something about it. Otherwise, it puts person in a fear.
Yes.
So that's coming back actually to these emotions. The thought first. You acknowledge something, and then where your emotions go and whether you want to transform them or not, and you acknowledge it, and like, no, I don't want to be in the fear state. That's no reason. Thank you for this, like knowing it, but I'm gonna be healthy, and for this reason I don't know, taking good care of myself, and I'm changing my diet. So kind of feel everything is connected, no?
And like what Gary said about the death, and once you confront your mortality, once confronting your mortality is the biggest way to elude yourself from, to be away from the fear, because once you confront your mortality, that okay, you're gonna die one day, it can happen today, it can happen any day. And once you consciously confront it, I swear, you believe me, you won't feel that fear again. You won't feel fear of anything again, because then you know the ultimate thing that's going to happen. Why should I fear for this small thing, or even for the money, even for this and that and that and that?
I still know people who don't. So I wouldn't say that every time you confront that.
No, it's
But if
not like,
you're,
it's not confronting every time. It's just like getting the essence, the nectar of it, and then living it.
I
Just,
know.
yeah. So it's not that you have to think of that every day, every moment. That doesn't make any
But
sense.
it's, many different experiences and perspectives. And I also know people who didn't feel that way after. That's
who
interesting. Like we have
who
all
who
different,
didn't who don't feel like,
like, not afraid of anything anymore.
yeah, that's a very beautiful state if we latch into that state, and that's so good. Feeling completely
I'm not
fearless
sure
about
if you understand what I meant here. Um,
what.
okay.
Yeah.
I think I know what you mean. And I think I would maybe add that there's, like, I know a few people that confronted death, and it seems like there's this window of opportunity where you can take on what just happened and process it, or you
Yeah.
can close the door and sort of go back to exactly like, oh, I got to sign up for another round and face this again or whatever. But I do think there are some people that don't capitalize. I don't want to use the word capitalize, but don't take that opportunity to hit the reset button.
Thank you for clarifying. It's like going in this
Yeah.
crisis, yes, and then you have, like, again, choice, like it's to wake you up and realize something, but you don't necessarily need to realize.
And this is, it's funny, like we talk about waking up, but yeah, everyone always has the choice to go back to sleep. And I think this is kind of like in the Bible, Jesus mentions this. It's like the greatest sin is to know and then forsake it, than to go back and, and kind of turn your back on it. So, but I agree with all of you. And one other thing I wanted to mention about security, there's an interesting, my mom is a great woman, and we had an interesting conversation the other day about like women's wisdom and just how she feels getting older. Like she's getting up to 70 now. And she said, I know now that I'm fine no matter where I am. Like whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And she would always say it is what it is. And I hated that expression growing up for so long. But it's kind of like, even when people die, you can they look back and, there's either regrets but you can't change anything. And all it was what did you do with the time you had, And I think even for me moving forward, it's like that security of just leaning into, I guess maybe I'll say the network state to some degree, but like that, yeah, people are out there, people got you. And really you can't avoid life's lessons. Whatever is meant for you is going to come to you, however you deal with it. And maybe the security is, as we I think we're all touching on, just you really only have yourself, and everything after that is a provision, and you just have to trust that those will be there and that you're intelligent enough to, take these things and do better things with them. But yeah, sorry, I'm getting off track. I'm going everywhere today.
Beautiful. Actually, it reminds me that if you really know that, we are one, you are me, I'm you, and so on, then you know that you have the support. If you treat people the way you would like to be treated, then it will come back, no?
Yeah.
There's nothing to be afraid.
You know,
Yolanda, something was breaking there.
okay, sorry, is that I have the phone there. Yeah, thank you, Jackie, for saying that. I think that's a very important point. It is what it is. It's actually a truth. I think depending on the level that you're looking at it, right? It is what it is, because it is what it is. What is for me, and I feel that as Yolanda, I don't have any control of what is happening in my life, actually. Yeah, that's what I believe. Like, it for me, it is more like life passed through me. You know, like a life is happening. It is, for me, it is not so much, not even so interesting, the idea of manifesting, because I kind of like the idea of discovering, right? Like, oh, this happened. No, it is what it is. You know, it is okay. Bring it on, right? And I think spirit for me has much more, I don't know, in creativity that what Yolanda, what I think I am, might have, right? That everything is, I don't know. The thing is, like, you also were talking, and I was feeling how hopeless you were feeling when this happened to you. I imagine that somebody stole something for you. I don't know exactly the whole thing, you know. Yet, I think that when somebody stole from us, it is because there's something that it is attached to our identity, right? Like it is being touched at some level, and they took it from us. But in reality, I think nobody can take anything from us, you know, in a way, because as Aga was saying, we are one. So in a way, whatever who takes actually is still with us, you know. So I don't know. I have mixed
We know.
yeah, it is. It's complicated because I look at the aspect that also Gary was saying, you know, like ultimately everything is a thought. Whatever the thought is, you put it in the sword, everything is a thought. And at the end, there's nothing. And that nothing is so full of creativity and so full of life. You know, it is not a nothing that is not alive. So when I mix these belief that I have, that I am that, whatever it is that is nothing, I am that. And Yolanda is here still having this conversation with you all. And it kind of like it's so difficult to bring safety when you are rooted in that I am nothing. And in that nothing, I know for sure I am safe. But when I'm in the personality and the identity that I am, that is configured by the circumstances of my life, by the experience that I had, by the friends that I have. So then I sometimes lose that feeling of safety. Like I also was telling Aga this morning, you know, like I was feeling like, oh, I don't know, you know, like I thought that I was going to have a job. I have a job, but I feel so ungrounded with all this moving from the United States to Spain that I feel ungrounded. And when I am grounded, I realize how easy it is for me to listen to my brother telling me what I have to do. And I am like, oh, yes, I should be doing that, right? Like, when in reality, who is responding is the Yolanda who is ungrounded. It is not the Yolanda that is grounded in that I know that I am safe. So I don't know, this thing of safety, for me, it mixes so much with this reality, you know, and so it's hard for me to talk about this.
We are challenged, like we were tested. So it comes probably to our reality to check if we are really, I don't know, harmonized, vibrating with this feeling safety, or maybe something comes into our reality and suddenly, no, I have some doubts, I have some fears.
Exactly.
No, I'm transmuting them. Thank you for coming and I'm having fun with this little challenge. So my life is more exciting, but I know that everything will be fine.
Yeah, I think as I was telling you today, I think it has to do with trust, you know, like trusting that this is part of the process, that when you move, that, you know, all of a sudden you identify who you are, who you're supposed to be with these ideas. You thought it's part of the process, you know, it is being aware of that only is grounding, you know, even telling is grounding. And being at peace with that, you know, that is okay. The turmoil or the hurricane, it will come down, you know. It is just, you just have to be there. That's it. And sorry, Yolanda, you have to be there. You know? That's it, you know.
So you better enjoy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you
What else you can do? Like, come on, at
fasten
least
your
enjoy.
seatbelt and enjoy the ride, because that is always what happens.
Thank you so
Very,
much
very
for this
beautifully
personal
said.
sharing.
Very beautifully said. Thanks for sharing, Yolanda. You reminded me of that saying that courage is not absence of fear. It's like when you have everything, when feeling everything, but you're still saying yourself, Yolanda, go and get it. So that's the real courage. You reminded me of that.
Yeah.
Great. Hey guys, you please carry on. It's like almost 1:15 over here. I'll go to sleep
Thank you
now.
so much for coming.
Bye, Tushar.
Appreciate
I
a lot
enjoyed
that you are still
enjoyed
alive.
listening to you today.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you all.
Right.
I'll listen rest of it on YouTube. You guys carry on.
We'll see if we are going to stay longer. Oh, yeah.
I like
What
what
you
you
think,
said,
Asna?
Yolanda, and I like what Aga said too. And I think that both of you kind of said this one thing where it's like, if you can shift it into like some, maybe not excitement, maybe that's like a little bit far, but like some sort of like exhilaration of the journey of it, the adventure of moving, you know, and all the moving pieces as the puzzle falls into place together in a way that, like you said, like your 3D mind couldn't even let it fall in together this way, because there's the bigger part of you that's putting the puzzle together for you.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for finding that. Like that in my experience that I had with mushrooms just right before I came here. That is the conclusion I had. Like there's forces working that we are not even aware of those forces. That they are beyond our comprehension. So thank you for that reminder.
Beautiful.
You need to unmute yourself, Gary.
So that said, is the feeling of security even important anymore?
I think it's
Thank
it's
you.
like a distraction. I don't think security is a real. It's like a smoke screen, like smoke and mirrors.
It's like distraction, like it really feels like distraction.
Do nothing,
Honestly, I
society,
feel like
man.
in a
Do
game.
nothing.
It's
Like, do
something
nothing,
comes
society.
and like also for analytical minds, yeah, it's like, okay, what's the test right now? Like, okay,
Yeah.
what I'm tested for and why this appears into my projection. Okay, so what
I
can I
really
do?
like what Yolanda said about nobody can take anything from you. Like, let's say, Gary, you are the perpetrator, okay? And you're stealing from me. So
Okay.
you take something from me, right? But it just goes into your hologram. Like what you do, you're always getting what you put out. So now you got to deal with that karma, we'll call it, right? For ease of. But for me, it doesn't affect me negatively at all, because I'm stable, I'm secure, I'm at peace, I'm whole and complete the way I am. You can't take anything away from me, and I'm going to lose my whole and completeness. So I'm just going to move into my next now, where probably more love will fill the space of whatever you took from me. It will just fill up with more love, right? And for you, I send you a lot of compassion and love too, because you are a victim in this too, because you felt like you needed to go and take my thing to make, which I don't even look at it like it's mine. It's ours. If you would have asked me for it, I would have given it to you anyway,
Exactly. I think that is very important, like it is not ours in the first place.
Everything is borrowed, basically. Apart, however, if you consider the energy, you got some energy from someone, even if it's in the form of something physical, and then someone is taking it away, then definitely there is a karma building.
It's infinite supply. There's no shortage of anything here.
No, I'm not talking about shortage. I'm talking about exchange of energy. There will always be a balance,
I think you're right, and I think it's on you. If you take it, then I think that there's like a balance for you to restore. However, I don't look at it like you're the bad person here. I think that you are the victim as well. If you felt like you needed to take my thing, right, then we as a collective let you down somewhere, because that's not you don't need to take anything from somebody else in order for you to have what you need to feel secure.
And
Actually,
also,
there's
I'm
another way to
probably on
look at it.
different level of like understanding, and I don't understand that, you know, there will be karma attached to it. If people really would believe in it, like they did, like for centuries ago, probably they would not move towards these directions. But we stop believing all of it. It's in every religion, basically. You shouldn't steal for someone.
Yeah, but
Or
Yes,
they're
go ahead.
making you one person bad and good, and so you're judging the bad person, and that's where we're going off track here. You can't judge the person who does the act. You have to love them the same as you love yourself. So when they paint there's good and bad, and you are a sinner if you do this, and you're not if you do this, that's just creating separateness.
No,
We've
I'm
got to
not judging
transcend
anyone.
past
I
that.
didn't say anything about good and bad. I just said that it was already people were aware that it's like there will be consequences of doing something like this, so they would not even go for it. It was coming from the awareness and not from the judgment that someone would judge me that I'm doing something positive or negative. You would just know that some consequences are coming.
I get what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And when you bring religion into it and you say they say it was a sin, you got to realize that most of what they said in religion was not for you.
I know. However, this many, like, if you dig into the different teachings, also religions, they also have this universal laws implemented there. And of course, there were some manipulations, how it was translated to people. So they would fear it and probably or judge each other. That's what you refer to. However, as a general law, it was good to mention you should not steal from someone. There are some
Yes,
things
you can't.
afterwards attached. I mean, you can, but you should know that it's energy. You are taking something, so you will have to give something also to balance the energies, for instance. Of course, people were
I
not
understand the
explained
balance.
this way for a reason.
But I understand what you're saying, Naga, about the balancing of the energy. That's why I'm saying that nobody can steal from you. Nobody. It is the religion says you can't steal. It says you can't, because in reality you can't. So you're gonna die, and you cannot take that with you. I mean, you know what I mean? It is like it's impossible for anybody to steal from us. And I'm talking here at more in a spiritual level, you know, because in reality, in the factual thing that we're gonna die. And if I rob and I steal from you, I cannot take that from me. It's impossible, you know. So at the energetic level, you can't steal energy, because it, as you say, it balances out, but it is not through the personality. That's what I'm saying. You know, like at the energy level, it's not the personality, and the consequences you will have. They are not necessarily translated or happening at the personality level. You know, like I remember, I had a boyfriend, and he took everything from me: my house, my car, everything. He took everything from me. And then I went to one of my brothers and I said, yeah, but I know this happens a long time ago. And I said to my older brother, I said, well, but I know he will go to sleep every night and he will remember, and he will know that he did that. And he said, you're crazy. Do you think the mafia people, when they kill anyone, they go to bed thinking that they have killed someone? No way. They don't. That doesn't show up in their consciousness. And it's true if you think about it. You know, like what I'm trying to say here is that it's okay. They cannot steal from you. It's impossible. It is not at a conscious level that you're going to have a karma. I don't believe in that you
I don't either.
have karma back in a bad way in the personality, because the personality ultimately is going to die too. This is going to go. This is going to go. The whole thing.
Could be today.
I mean, it will always live, because everything happens in the now. So we are constantly running on many levels there. and we
There's many levels.
like in this reality we're not conscious about other karmas, lessons basically, or contracts that we have to do to experience something right now, and bring it also to the collective. It's another topic. However, with this whole stealing, if we more would be aware, I believe, really like basic laws like of how this universe works, we would not probably
I
do
agree.
so many
I
of these things.
100% agree
Just
with
by
you.
awareness. It's not about threatening someone. It's not to put them in shame, guilt, or whatever. It's not that. But first be aware, like probably like when you get aware, like guys, when you got aware about what's happening with this world, like probably first there are very low emotions. You are angry, you are frustrated, you are in fear maybe too, like what's going on with this world. But then there comes this moment like, okay, I need to transmute it and I need to take some action so it's better. Otherwise it won't happen. And it's the same here. Like first we need to acknowledge like what are these laws, and maybe I have guilt because I did something not proper towards someone else, some shame, but I don't want to continue this way.
Yeah.
And this 0 point, and okay, I start anew because every moment is a new moment, and I can still take this action and do something better.
I agree 100% with what you're saying. 100%. Definitely will have a much better, but what I'm talking ultimately, like we create a space in time. I mean, no space of time, like we can get out of everything and I don't know, man. I don't know.
I mean, this you can do too.
What I know for sure is that, as you say, I have every second opportunity to start over, every second the possibility to change, every second, every millisecond to change. And I don't like to steal because I like to be nice, and I like to feel full with what I have. But that I think requires a different stage of development, right? And that takes time. And this reality that we have created, all of us, there are people that steal, and they steal, and they think they're better. Like look at the King of Spain. I was watching a movie the other day about the King of Spain. I said, my gosh, like he stole billions of dollars from the Spain, and there you go. His karma, he's in Saudi Arabia. Relax. Like I don't believe in the karma in here, in the flesh. I don't believe in that because that will mean that we are super important as human beings, and I don't believe we are so important as humans in this planet. There's other beings that are also very important. So
we're all equally important. However, it also is interesting how you define karma, because there can be also misunderstandings. I think originally karma would be a lesson, so this person needs to learn something that they shouldn't steal from someone.
The original thing of karma was suffering. You would suffer. That's like the Buddhist thing, and that's the part I don't agree with, and I don't think Yolanda agrees with either. I don't think you have to. I don't think there's a suffering like that. And I think every interaction with each other is a co-creation. So whether you're the perpetrator or the victim or the observer, wherever you are, you created that moment together for you to have an experience.
I heard that karma is actually related to lessons simply, and it can be related to some sort of suffering, but it's general some experience. Again, it's about your perception, how you will perceive this experience. So if we people like learn that a lesson has to be hard and then we need to suffer, then it will be suffering. But if like now with different consciousness, we approach these lessons with like, okay, I will transmute, I'm gonna enjoy. Is it still suffering? No. Even I have probably some karma maybe there too, like this different lessons coming.
Yeah.
It's about my perception now. Yeah. And I know everything is in my hands and my heart, actually, my mind. and it depends how I'm going to choose how to receive it and move forward. What kind of action to
Beautiful.
take.
I love that.
You know,
You-
just like reminds me of like Newton's law of like physics, right? The three law. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. Energy can only be transmuted. So such as energy, right? It always like changes shapes. Then like actually back to like the whole like notion of like Buddhism. It's actually not karma that causes you to suffer. Karma is basically the transmutation of energy from one like state to another. Is the ignorant perception of like that energy is supposed to stay in one shape that causes like a person to like start suffering. And once you like accept that, you know, the energy is going to transmute at some point, and it's like, oh, it transmuted. All right, out of the mind, just move on to the next step. You know.
Yeah.
Doesn't really
Yeah, it's how we approach it.
Yeah.
I mean, different people are like have different triggers for different emotions,
Yeah.
and everything starts with this thought, like how we associate it, and then it triggers some sort of emotion in us. And if that's so, if different people can have different emotions about the same stuff, then well, we can change everything. Like we can,
Yes.
change our approach to whatever there is in the world.
Yeah, and also now that you guys talking, I feel like also karma might have to do with an aspect of us that can frozen, and it kind of like prevent us to keep evolving or to keep realizing who we really are. So that I see that like as a way that you, instead of transforming that energy, karma maybe kind of like prevent us to keep realizing who we really are, So I don't know, we can see it that way too. So
I love that. It's like it always comes back to self. It comes from self, and then it goes around and it comes back to self.
And that is the zendo, right? That the energy needs to fulfill itself. And if we do something, so if we starve the energy and all of a sudden the energy gets frozen, cannot fulfill, make the whole circle, right?
Yeah, the law of cycles too, and the rhythm. But also reminds me of what Jackie said before, and of this, choice that we have in this dark moments. Because again, it's a possibility, opportunity to wake up, or we can continue with the old patterns and the same karma, the same lesson, and repeating it over and over. Or it can be something like really breaking through and turn over in our life. Yeah, that's a good word.
I like the idea
Change
of like
maker.
the dark moments. The dark moments are very interesting. Every time I like can perceive of that moment, what I actually do, I immediately try to play it out in real life.
Yeah.
And once you're in that state, it's like, this is what the imagined dark moment is, huh? And then it's like when you like experience it, this dark moment is actually not very dark. It's just a moment.
Yeah.
And actually it's quite enjoyable.
Actually, yeah. Because it's a thought. It's a thought. And the dark moment is actually the way you decide to look at it, right?
Yeah.
That's why
Again, this perception.
and exactly. And
When you look from above, like for your life, probably the hardest moments were actually the best and the most awakening, like changing. And I'm so grateful that they happened, because I am here where I am.
And they would have been neutral moments if we had labeled them, like you said, Aga, earlier. Like if we had, it's like we collapsed a wave through our observation. So if we choose to label it like it's happening for us, or things are always working out for us, or, rather than this dark moment, so to speak, then I think we have a lot more ease and light and lightness in the way we approach life. And that is like worth that's for me, that's worth infinite, just to be able to be light in life.
I really wish that we have this different dictionary, guys. I'm using the words that are like understandable, possibly. And I'm not attached to these words. Like I don't have emotions, like suddenly feeling dark, because I find the joy there. But it really like kind of triggers me again. Well, let's do this dictionary, like with new words.
it's like the whole idea of dictionary reminds me of like this book, right? It's called 1984 by George Orwell.
I thought your book.
How is that relevant, Gary? What about that book? What are you present to right now?
It's like in the book, right? Like the central establishment is like trying to control like the words being used and trying to like phase out all the like words that's kind of like not really what they're trying to like promote. And like the core thesis is like he who controls the present, which is like if you control the words, then you can control the past, right? Which is the history, your identity, right? And once you control the identity and the history, then like basically you control the future.
Oh my God, I heard the same 2 days ago. It's crazy. I'm really scared of this collective consciousness, guys, because whatever you post, Gary, there, and then I'm like, I just thought about it. Like, what the... Maybe we are already like using telepathy, guys. That's scary.
Well, it's a way that we are connecting in ways that we are calling our tribe in a way, you know.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's very with the PayPal too, and like so many coincidences.
Or there's another way to say it, right? It's like maybe we kind of like slowly forming our own echo chamber.
Yeah.
Actually, the best way for me to figure out things is to resonate with someone. It's kind of like equal to like I apparently hear myself in people for their energy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my God.
I always enjoy like someone coming and like change my mind with like a totally different perspective.
I love that. I love that challenge, Gary. I just love it.
Depends which one, because sometimes I'm really sick of facing it again.
Wait, which one? Tell me more. I'm curious.
No, I don't know. No, but it really now so rare. I'm really impressed. Like, and someone just told me, "Wow, just new person that I met, and I never had someone like talking about this stuff. It's so exciting, wonderful to meet you." And I'm like, "How it's like my everyday." Really, I think like I just attract this energy too into my life. So the right people.
That's good.
And I feel like I have my tribe, great people to talk about all of it, and then be myself, as we mentioned already, like being authentic. We don't have to pretend, and yeah.
The funny thing about like the synchronicity, this morning you brought up the whole idea of real estate, and Francois said the same, and then like Johnson was like, what the hell, man? Everyone's like talking about real estate at the same time.
But even the Gangsta Paradise that I dropped, and he said that he just watched it. Like, what's the probability that he watched Gangsta Paradise? Like, what the hell? Like, why this movie from all of the movies? And I had it like on the radio, and then I thought like, oh, there is something like about being all one, probably. What? That was also crazy. I mean, there were like this past week. Look, there were so many synchronicities there on the groups.
Or maybe it's like just a trend, like really surfacing and starting to become mainstream. There's like another way to see it as well. So there are like a few ways to see it, at least like from my perspective.
Gangsta Paradise coming?
Yeah, I was like last night I was like talking to like I was like replying to Johnson's like, you know what? Wrong person, man. It's like I kind of like only hang out with like hippies, hoodlums, and like hobos, right? Hoodlums are gangsters, right?
I mean, let's see for others, and then we'll see if it's coming more. But I feel like on Monday when we meet for some organization stuff, we can find out more synchronicities there.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
What comes around our minds, guys.
The other thing I want to just say about security.
Yes,
it's kind of like accounting, right?
Yeah.
So like there's this accounting system that keeps track of databases for businesses, right? And the government sets the rules, the GAAP standards or whatever it is. And then there's this whole industry, like the PwCs, the consulting firm, and they're the ones that go and make sure that the rules are being adhered to. And both of them are major revenue streams, like, of the world economy. I mean, there's like, they're both, but they're just there to like play with each other. Well, that's like how I am with security stuff. It's like you got this huge cybersecurity enterprise, which is the most profitable business you can open today. And then you've got this huge problem being perpetuated. They're just playing with themselves. It's like, just like close it all down and let's move to the next thing already.
Let's just go to quantum and just do
Quantum, baby. I'm there.
and then just like sit and just meditate
quantum,
and
baby.
just happen, you know.
Which is what quantum is all your focus, your heart, and the smallest actions you take matter. That is what we can all control. We can't control like cybersecurity, really. I mean, but we can control. Do we engage with ecosystems that have a value set? Like, for example, crypto. If you're somebody who's in crypto and you made a lot of money on something that doesn't match up with your agreements, which Jackie's not here, so I don't really want to talk about her, but she said that just a few weeks ago, that there was something that was successful in her past that provided a lot of like liquidity for her life, for her needs. And so the idea is that in crypto, you're doing something you don't want to agree to get the results that you do want to agree to. But that doesn't make sense quantum wise, right? Because if we agree to something that we're not aligned with, then we understand that we're really creating in the quantum field more things that we don't want to.
That's true.
Receive, because we're always, like you were saying, Aga, we're always getting back what we're putting out. So if we're engaging, and sometimes the permission we give is on degrees, right? So we might say, hey, Gary, I'm going to steal from you today. Do you agree? And you might say, no. Okay, all right. So you don't agree with it. But there might be some degree of agreement somewhere in there, like even subconscious, where you want to have the experience of the victim and I want to be the perpetrator, you know? And so we're going to play these roles with each other so that we can have this experience that I wouldn't get to play my part and transmute the energy, and you wouldn't get to do your part if we didn't play this game together.
Is it stealing actually about not having the agreement from the other party?
No,
but that's what I'm trying to say. There's the degrees of agreement. Like, there's a lot of things happening in the world that you don't explicitly agree to, but through your little actions in your
perception
life,
again, yeah.
You may have drank a Coca-Cola and there are people dying of thirst next to the Coca-Cola plantations in Africa, but you don't agree with that, but you still drink Coke, for example. I'm just using an example. So like there's different degrees to everything. And as humans, we didn't learn that through our language. We didn't get the education that we agree to things whether we know it or not all the time.
That's why the perception changes on each level, and we have constantly something to learn, and we we can go back to this Maya state. You go from one illusion to another. So even if you learn something, you should be able to question anything in that new state of awareness, because you still have a couple of more to learn.
Beautiful illusions, though. Beautiful Maya.
Yeah, and that's for me. That's why transparency is so important, to tell the truth all the time, right? Whatever the truth it might be. You know, what is the truth here? I think it's so important what you were saying, you know, in terms even among us in this group, right? Maybe you agree to something for whatever reason because we don't want to push the buttons of someone. It happens in relationships, right? But really you are not agree with that. So there's this exchange of contracts that we do, invisible contracts. Aga, we had this conversation once. You know,
I'm laughing because another synchronicity for me. I don't know.
No, but it's important for me how transparent we want to be, how committed. That's what I was bringing this at the beginning of the conversation, right? How committed do we really want to be, right? To what extent we don't want to put these talks because we are in social media, for instance. It's just an example that I bring from first part of this conversation, because what people might think, what the people that I'm interested in having business with might think about me. How are they going to see me? I think these are very valid questions, like to really dig into them.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. Transparency should be definitely another topic. I'm not convinced about being super truth, like saying too much. Oh my God, it's not that they're too lying, but okay. I had a conversation with my friend who's also a lot into quantum. I was really surprised to find out that he's also in these topics. And then he tells me, now I tell the truth. So if my wife asks me, and his wife is not really in that quantum stuff, so she thinks more that he's crazy. And if his wife asks him if he liked the food, he tells her it was not tasty. And I'm like,
that is not caring. I'm not talking about that truth. But I
was also like,
that is not caring. For me, it's more about, ouch, that hurts. I feel hurt. So then in that moment, there's an opening. Ooh, it is not like fighting against, or it is not about pointing anything or anybody or any.
No, he was very calm saying it.
It is not that, but
I know, I agree, but I had to explain it. Actually, I had to explain it. So because for him it's her challenge. She has to learn something from me projecting me, that she has to face something, and I'm like, but how you can how do you wish to convert the situation, man? If you tell her like, I don't like it.
Well, I just think there's compassion.
I mean, I started from being grateful because she cooked him a food.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Hey, totally. Man.
And here are the things I like about it. I really like that you made it for me, that you put your heart into this for me. I really like you took the time for it. You can find lots of things. Like, there's a lot of ways you can be authentic and.
But that's why I feel like, it's this truth.
No.
I mean, being authentic, I love, but again, it is a bit tricky,
Yeah.
You shouldn't lie, but on the other side, you should use actually this kind of, let's say, marketing communication tricks. Yes. So you don't hurt this person because that's not what you want to do. But you are aware that if you say it this way, this person at this stage will not feel good.
You can't control how they feel, though. That's the truth. I mean, if you cook something for me and I say, look, I don't like it, which I might just say, I don't like it, then we can laugh about it together. You don't have to be offended about it. It doesn't have anything to do with you. It has to do with me and my taste buds and my brain, and
I'm not saying that you can control, but you are aware that if you say it this way, that's not gonna be nice.
Exactly.
And I had to tell him, like, man, if you ask after sex and she answers, sorry, that was the. I mean, would you like it? Would it encourage you to be better? Maybe guys are more, I don't know, ambitious, maybe, but probably would not feel good. So that's why girls fake a lot. Is it for better or not?
We're taking the conversation all the way to sex, huh?
Security and sex.
I mean, how to better explain it about this
kind of my ex-girlfriend actually explain it very clearly. It's like saying, if it's like 20 thrusts per minute versus like 40 thrusts per minute, the level of like pleasure would go up like if you actually go up to like 40 thrusts a minute.
40 what?
Like, if you actually like increase the speed of thrust from like 20 per minute to 40 per minute, the pleasure level will go up. But if you actually go above that, then it actually goes down the curve. I was like, it's like fully quantified, right? You can like even apply it to cooking. This dish is great, but if you apply like 100 milligram more salt, it will taste even better.
Lovely.
Yeah, but it doesn't have like a personal thing. What I'm trying to bring about this. Okay, we're talking about security. Okay, Neil brought this thing today. Like, why don't we put this in our? And for me, it is like I'm saying, all right, like, okay, I think this is very intimate and it's us, and I don't think it should be shared because it's so intimate. But that's my perception. Yet we have others in the group that maybe a conversation like this publicly may affect them in their business, right? And so we need to be clear about these things and to tell the truth that, you know what, no, this is not going to work for me.
So,
you know, but
so
with that, with distill exactly, I think it would be good for us, actually, for all of us, I mean, and
actually
distill the truth.
The way I see it, there's like two different things. There are two things. One is transparency, and the other is accountability. They do not like have to be mutually inclusive. You can like don't really need to know what's happening in the black box.
Yeah.
But if you can like request an audit, every single thing can actually be accounted for. I think like that's more than enough.
Yeah.
You don't really need to know like why is this transaction there. It's like okay, there's a transaction there. It's like whatever is like within that transaction, I don't need to know.
Exactly.
But I can know that transaction, the tokens that was like transacted was like based on the rubric, and that's accounted for.
I agree with both of what you're saying, and I want to bring this. In the old world, we said business is business. Business goes over here, personal stuff goes over here, okay? So there's an incongruency in what we used to create with business being business and how we really want to act, feel, and think over here. And I think what we're doing is we're integrating, we're becoming more one, we're creating unity. And so there needs to be a level of, like the word you brought it today, Yolanda, commitment, because inside of transparency, let's take the old financial system. It's not transparent. And many people have said that people wouldn't interact with it if it was transparent. So there needs to be a degree of opaqueness, which I think is what you're saying here, Yolanda and Gary. There might need to be a degree of opaqueness in order for this to work. I'm just interested in exploring when you ask for transparency, when we say we want transparency, but then we don't really want transparency. So
just want accountability, that's what it is. Because
But
like
then
when I was like
then I'm questioning like how you feel safe or not safe, or you're afraid of what others will think about you.
I don't get my safety from anyone, any of you guys, anybody else out there in the world.
I'm not afraid to put something like now. I'm super excited to talk about it. As we were talking with Gary previously, it's like really fast filter of everyone around me, and they're only staying those who are open and on higher frequencies. So I'm happy to use it more, and I don't care what people even professionally think. That I know that I'm not on their frequency even probably. So
I used to write exactly what I was thinking and feeling, and I just attracted you guys and other people that I'm still connected to, and my connections with them are deeper than anybody else that I've ever done business with because they're more authentic, and I enjoy these relationships more than any other relationships of the past. So I think
actually some big CEOs were also like reaching me, for a spiritual talk, which is like because
big
they
CEOs.
Couldn't go out. Yeah, let's say that from big corporates, yes, and then suddenly they're
big
coming
corporates.
And it's okay. It's good. We are making a transition here. We are helping together to elevate the collective consciousness.
Do you have some complex with big? I don't know. Big core CEOs.
All right.
I don't know why you were underlying it. Just asking.
Back to the whole filtering like idea.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to bring some CEOs to our talks and see what happens.
I mean, some of us are too. I mean, I get the point. I'm just laughing. So I love to joke too,
Yeah. Back to the whole idea of filtering, right? It's like you have like very limited time on a daily basis, and actually in the whole lifespan you really have limited time. So in the first place, you probably wouldn't have enough time to interact with every single human being on earth anyway. So why even bother, right? So might as well just filter out those you shouldn't like really waste your time on, because like totally out of sync. And it's like just like create out people that can sync this.
I like where you're going, but I don't like the method because I don't believe in time short as consciousness anymore. I have an infinite amount of time. time, I create time myself. If I ever need more time, I create more of it, no matter what the lesson is that I'm entangled with in the moment. And I just think I don't agree with that. Like we're running out of time thing. I just think it's like, for me, it's dead.
For me, I agree with Gary. You know, I don't have so much time for people that they are at certain level. I'm not interested anymore. You know, like I don't have time to make them feel better. You know, like let's keep bringing people that they have a higher way of.
I know. It's maybe like this attention, which is our energy. Like I don't have more energy for like waste kind of follow them, because I know that they are on their path and they still have some lessons and they will not listen. I need to move forward towards something that can be productive and it's not gonna impact me negatively, for instance. So maybe it's about this energy.
You guys want better dance partners. You want people who can dance with you, you know, and on your time. But there's no shortage of time.
Yeah.
I want to get more. I want to laugh more. I want to have fun.
Yes.
Living, you know, like
Yes.
Yeah,
and
that's
I
why I
want to have
love
more
this.
hugs. I think more hugs is good, you know.
Yeah.
I want to have
more love, more everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we're closer than ever before. I really believe that what we are here right now on this planet in this moment for a beautiful moment where we are transmuting the energy and we are realizing these higher vibrations in us and around us and creating them more. And I'm really excited to be alive right now. I'm very optimistic.
That's good.
Yeah, those were the best times that we could have chosen, guys. I mean, we chose it for a reason. It has to be challenging, like exciting. Otherwise, boring. The same stuff. No. Expect unexpected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like enjoy all these surprises in this life. Oh my God.
Just love the now,
Now I
because it
want
won't
to
be this way
dance.
tomorrow.
Okay, so we are closing, darling.
We are.
Yes.
Are you ready with your guitar?
Oh boy, here we go.
Da-da-da-da. Thank you so much, guys.
Love and light.
Love you. Thank you.